Welcome back to Mind's Journey, where we delve into the depths of philosophical wisdom and explore how it can enhance our lives. Here, we believe that philosophy is not just an academic subject, but a practical guide that can transform our understanding and approach towards life. In today's video, we are going to explore the wisdom of one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, Epictetus. We'll be breaking down his teachings into 7 key Stoic principles and discuss how they can be applied to our daily lives. These principles are not just philosophical concepts, but practical tools that can help us live more fulfilling and resilient lives. So, let's dive into the enlightening world of Epictetus and his 7 Stoic principles. Let's now dive deeper into Stoicism, a philosophy that originated in the Greco-Roman period. Stoicism teaches self-control and fortitude to overcome destructive emotions, promoting clear judgment, inner peace, and objective thinking. It goes beyond enduring hardships and encourages thriving amidst them. Stoicism holds great importance in human existence and values. It teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. It urges us to detach from materialistic pleasures and external validation, guiding us to find satisfaction within ourselves. Stoicism provides a roadmap for a virtuous, resilient, and tranquil life, regardless of external circumstances. Now, let's discuss Epictetus, a significant contributor to Stoicism. Born a slave in Hierapolis, Phrygia, Epictetus later became a leading Stoic philosopher. His teachings emphasized accepting situations as they are, controlling our responses, and cultivating virtuous character. Although Epictetus didn't write anything himself, his discourses were transcribed by his pupil Arrian, offering invaluable insight into his philosophy. His principles continue to provide practical wisdom that remains relevant today. Let's delve into the first Stoic principle according to Epictetus, the dichotomy of control. The dichotomy of control is a fundamental concept in Stoic philosophy that suggests we divide everything in life into 2 categories: things we can control and things we cannot. Epictetus stated, "Some things are in our control and others not." So, what are the things we can control? Well, our thoughts, beliefs, and actions, for instance. And the things we cannot control? They include external events, other people's actions, or the inevitable passage of time. To illustrate this principle, consider a situation where you're stuck in traffic and running late for a meeting. You can't control the traffic, it's an external event. But what you can control is how you react to it. Instead of letting frustration take over, you can choose to stay calm, listen to a podcast, or use the time to mentally prepare for your meeting. Or let's take another example. Imagine you've prepared meticulously for a job interview. However, the ultimate decision of whether you get the job or not is not in your control. What's in your control is your preparation, your presentation, and your responses during the interview. Applying this principle in our daily life involves 2 steps. First, recognizing what is and isn't within our control. This gives us a clear understanding of where to focus our energy and resources. Second, practicing acceptance of things outside our control, simplifying our life, and reducing unnecessary stress. So remember, the next time you're faced with a challenging situation, ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, learn to let go and accept. That's the essence of the dichotomy of control, according to Epictetus. Moving on to the second principle, the acceptance of fate. In the Stoic philosophy, accepting fate doesn't mean surrendering or becoming passive. Instead, it's about understanding that there are things beyond our control, and it's only by accepting and embracing this fact that we can truly attain peace. Epictetus emphasized that we are not in control of external events and circumstances, but we are in control of how we react to them. This principle is about surrendering to the natural flow of life, to stop resisting what already exists, and instead diverting our energy towards what we can influence. Life is unpredictable, and despite our best efforts, we often face circumstances that are not in our favor. It might be a sudden loss, a change in a relationship, or even a global pandemic. When we resist these changes, we often find ourselves in a state of stress, anxiety, and discontent. But when we adopt the principle of acceptance of fate, we choose to accept the reality of our situation and respond to it in the most constructive manner possible. This doesn't mean we become passive observers in our lives, but it means we understand our sphere of influence and act within it. So, how can we incorporate this principle into our daily lives? First, make a clear distinction between what you can control and what you can't. For instance, you can't control the weather, but you can control how you prepare for it. You can't control how others behave, but you can control how you react to them. Second, practice mindfulness. Stay present and accept the moment as it is, without judgment or resistance. This can help us adapt more readily to life's ever-changing circumstances. And finally, cultivate gratitude. Even in difficult situations, there's always something to be grateful for. By focusing on these aspects, we can find peace and contentment, irrespective of our external circumstances. Remember, acceptance of fate is not about surrendering our power, but about understanding where our true power lies. It is here, in the acceptance of life as it is, that we find our peace and our strength. Moving on to the third principle of Stoicism according to Epictetus, emotion control. This principle is centrally focused on the understanding that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. In essence, Stoicism teaches us to separate the things that are within our control, our thoughts and reactions, from those that are not, the events and circumstances of the world around us. Now, controlling our emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. Instead, Stoicism advises us to acknowledge our emotions, understand what's causing them, and then make rational decisions about how to react. So, how can we manage our emotions effectively? The first step is awareness. By being more mindful of our emotional state, we can identify when we're starting to feel a certain way and then take steps to address it. Secondly, practicing mindfulness meditation can be a powerful tool for emotion control. This helps to create a space between stimulus and response, allowing you to act rather than react. Finally, it's essential to remember that our perception of events is often what generates our emotional response. By reframing negative situations as opportunities for growth or learning, we can change our emotional response to them. This turns potential negative experiences into positive ones. Now, let's look at some tips for implementing emotion control in day-to-day life. First, make it a habit to pause and reflect before reacting to any situation. This gives you the time to choose your response, rather than letting your emotions control you. Second, practice mindfulness regularly. This could be as simple as focusing on your breath for a few minutes each day, or as complex as a full mindfulness meditation practice. Lastly, try to reframe any negative events or circumstances as learning opportunities. This helps to not only control your emotional response, but also fosters a positive mindset. Remember, emotion control is a skill, and like any skill, it takes time and practice to improve. So, be patient with yourself, and make emotion control a consistent part of your daily routine. As Epictetus said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Now, let's delve into the fourth principle of Stoicism according to Epictetus, which is self-awareness. Self-awareness in Stoicism is an internal perspective, a cognizance of our thoughts, feelings, and actions. It's about understanding our own nature and recognizing our capabilities and limitations. This principle emphasizes the need to constantly observe and reflect on oneself and to be conscious of our thoughts and emotions rather than being mere spectators of external events. Self-awareness is fundamental in personal development. It's the starting point of all changes and improvements. The more aware we are of our internal processes, the better we can control and manipulate them for our good. It is through self-awareness that we come to understand what drives us, what scares us, and what motivates us. This knowledge is invaluable in confronting our fears, managing our emotions, and achieving our goals. Now, how can we enhance self-awareness? Firstly, practice mindfulness. This involves paying full attention to the present moment and accepting it without judgment. By being mindful, we can observe our thoughts and feelings objectively. Secondly, engage in self-reflection. Take time each day to contemplate your actions, decisions, and feelings. Ask yourself why you react in certain ways and dig deeper into your motives. Thirdly, seek feedback from others. Sometimes others can see aspects of ourselves that we are blind to. Constructive criticism can be a great tool for self-improvement. By practicing these strategies, you can enhance your self-awareness and thereby take a step closer to the Stoic ideal. Remember, self-awareness is not a destination, but a journey. It requires continual effort and attention, but it's an effort well worth making, for it's a path to personal growth and a fulfilling life. Moving on to the fifth principle, let's delve into the pursuit of virtue. This principle holds a central place in Stoic philosophy. Epictetus, like other Stoic philosophers, asserted that virtue is the only true good and the ultimate end goal of human life. The pursuit of virtue is about striving to be the best version of ourselves. It's about embodying qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are not just abstract concepts, but guidelines for how we should conduct ourselves in our daily lives. The significance of virtue in leading a fulfilling life cannot be understated. According to Stoicism, a virtuous life is a life well lived. Virtue provides us with a moral compass that directs us towards right action and right thought. It's not about achieving external success, but inner peace and contentment. But how do we cultivate and pursue virtue? It starts with self-awareness, recognizing our strengths and weaknesses, and then consciously working on improving our character. It's about making wise choices, being just in our dealings, showing courage in the face of adversity, and maintaining self-control. Practicing virtue is a lifelong journey, and not a destination. It involves constant self-evaluation and self-improvement. By consciously incorporating these virtues into our daily lives, we can align ourselves with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature and our true selves. Remember, the pursuit of virtue is about progress, not perfection. As Epictetus said, we are not disturbed by things, but by the view which we take of them. So let's strive to view and navigate our life through the lens of virtue. Moving on to the sixth Stoic principle according to Epictetus, we delve into the concept of detachment. In the context of Stoic philosophy, detachment does not refer to apathy or disinterest. Instead, it is about separating our peace of mind and happiness from things that are beyond our control, be it possessions, status, or even the behavior of others. Epictetus asserted that our emotional health depends upon where we invest our concerns. If we attach our happiness and peace to external factors that are not within our control, we set ourselves up for constant disappointment, frustration, and ultimately, unhappiness. On the other hand, if we focus on things within our control, such as our actions, our virtues, and our responses to external events, we can maintain a state of tranquility and contentment, irrespective of the circumstances. Detachment plays a significant role in personal peace and growth. By practicing detachment, we learn to let go of the irrational desire to control everything around us. This results in reduced anxiety, increased mental strength, and an overall sense of peace. It allows us to experience things as they are, without the constant need to manipulate or change them. So how can we practically implement detachment in our daily lives? Start by recognizing and understanding what is within your control and what isn't. Focus on your actions and reactions rather than the actions of others or the outcomes that you cannot control. Another helpful practice is to consciously detach from material possessions and social status. This doesn't mean that you should renounce everything and live in poverty, but rather, don't let these things define your self-worth or happiness. Lastly, meditation can be a powerful tool in practicing detachment. It helps in cultivating a non-reactive mind where you can objectively observe your thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. Remember, detachment, according to Stoicism, isn't about eliminating emotions or desires. Instead, it's about understanding them, managing them, and ultimately not letting them control you. Moving on to our final principle, we delve into the concept of the present moment. In Stoicism, Epictetus emphasized the importance of focusing on the present moment. This principle encourages us to let go of past regrets and future anxieties, and to concentrate solely on the here and now. This does not mean disregarding the past or future entirely, but rather not allowing them to consume our present. Dwelling in the past can lead to feelings of regret, while constantly worrying about the future can induce anxiety. Epictetus taught that we should not let these feelings control us, as we have no control over the past or the future. The only thing we can truly control is how we act and react in the present moment. The importance of living in the present moment for mental health cannot be overemphasized. By focusing on the present, we can reduce feelings of stress and anxiety. It helps us to accept things as they are, rather than as we wish they were or fear they might become. It encourages us to be fully engaged in our current activities, which can significantly improve our overall well-being and satisfaction. So, how can we incorporate this principle into our daily lives? Here are a few strategies. Firstly, try to be fully aware of your current situation. Pay attention to your surroundings, the task at hand, and your body. This is often referred to as mindfulness, and there are numerous methods available to help cultivate this state of mind, such as meditation or yoga. Secondly, when you find your mind wandering to past events or future worries, gently bring it back to the present. Acknowledge these thoughts, but don't dwell on them. This is not about suppressing thoughts, but rather about not allowing them to take over your mind. Finally, find joy in simple things. The beauty of a sunset, the smell of freshly brewed coffee, or the sound of birds singing. These are all moments to savor and be thankful for. Remember, the present moment is all we truly have. By focusing on it, we can lead more fulfilling lives, unaffected by unnecessary worries or regrets. As Epictetus said, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. And so, we have journeyed through the 7 key Stoic principles as outlined by the Greek philosopher Epictetus. Let's go over them again briefly. Principle 1, the dichotomy of control, teaches us to focus on the things we can change and let go of the ones we cannot. The second principle urges us to accept fate as it is, while the third principle emphasizes the importance of controlling our emotions. The fourth principle encourages us to cultivate self-awareness. This is followed by the fifth principle, which calls for the pursuit of virtue. The sixth principle discusses the concept of detachment, emphasizing the need to refrain from clinging to external things. The final principle, the present moment, reminds us of the importance of living in the here and now. These principles, when applied, can help us live a life unaffected by external circumstances, by teaching us to accept things as they come, to control our emotions, to be self-aware, and to live in the present moment. It's about understanding what we can and cannot control, and finding peace within that understanding. In a world where external situations can often be overwhelming, Stoicism offers us a way to find internal stability and peace. It's not about being unaffected by emotions, but rather understanding and managing them effectively. And so, we encourage you to incorporate these principles into your life, not all at once, but slowly and in a way that works for you. Remember, Stoicism is not a quick fix, but a lifelong journey towards self-improvement and inner peace. These 7 principles are a guide, a roadmap to navigating life in a more mindful, accepting, and resilient way. So take them, use them as you see fit, and start your own journey towards Stoic wisdom. We hope you found value in our exploration of the 7 Stoic principles according to Epictetus. Now, we invite you to engage with us in the comments section below. Did this video resonate with you? Which of these principles do you find most challenging or rewarding to incorporate into your life? Your thoughts and experiences are important to us, and they enrich our community by offering different perspectives. If you found this video beneficial, we encourage you to hit the like button, as it helps us reach more people who might be interested in this kind of content. Sharing the video with friends, family, or colleagues who you think would benefit from this wisdom is also a great way to spread these profound Stoic principles. Most importantly, if you haven't already, subscribe to Mind's Journey. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with our latest content, ensuring you don't miss out on any future philosophical explorations. Remember, philosophy is not just about understanding the world, but about living in it. We look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for being part of our journey. As we wrap up our journey into the world of Stoicism for today, I'd like to give you a little glimpse into our next adventure. We will be delving into a new philosophical territory, exploring the fascinating concepts and principles of existentialism. Imagine being able to understand and navigate through the freedom, absurdity, and authenticity that are at the heart of human existence. How does one find meaning in a seemingly meaningless world? Can we truly be free from societal expectations and norms? These are just some of the questions we will be tackling. So, if you're intrigued by the mysteries of life and human existence, you definitely don't want to miss our next philosophical exploration. Stay tuned to Mind's Journey as we continue to uncover the wisdom of the ages and apply it to our modern lives.